Hey gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel. In this video we're going to be conditioning my pair of Gym Green Barefoot African Rangers. Now these guys here are in their Houston color. We're going to get into some of the different options that you guys can take as you want to care for your shoes, but also I'm leaning towards a version that I got from Gareth over there at Gym Green. He actually used their conditioner. Now it's not actually made for suede nubuck rough out specifically. There's some versions on the table I'm going to show you that are, but I think it came out really good. What do you say we get right into it? So I'm not actually going to be cleaning these boots today because they really don't need it. But keep in mind that a pair of boots, leather boots, are going to need condition pretty much no matter what. Every 6 months as a rule, especially if you're wearing them a lot. It doesn't always mean that they're going to need cleaned first. So we are going to hit it with a horsehair brush and make sure and get the dust off, but we're not going to go ahead and clean it with saddle soap or leather cleaner. So I have just a basic horsehair brush. I did label mine dust. I'm going to do another video soon on my different brushes. This guy here is what I use just to dust it off. Nothing too crazy. Again, these really aren't that dirty. You just don't want to be working in any type of gravel or dirt or dust into the leather. You know, leather is made up of fibers and it needs to breathe in essence. This is once an animal hide, and so it kind of acts as if it did when it was alive in essence. But you can see some of that dirt coming off on the table there. I'm not going to do this one so we can kind of see a before and after. They have a really good video you guys can check out over there at Gym Green themselves. Gareth went with this leather balm. So they have their own leather balm, and I've used this on a pair of Gym Green boots already, and it's pretty common. You know, it's stuff that you see a lot of different companies kind of make up their own version of it. It's a harder wax, so there's more waxes in here. It's not like a liquid conditioner. This is waterproofing spray, but Cobbler's Choice has a conditioner that comes in a bottle like that as well. So this has marula fruit, macadamia nut oil, beeswax, and sugar cane wax. So a bunch of different stuff going on there. I'm not a chemist, but as you break down some of these things and what they're doing, the oil obviously is going to penetrate deeply. The beeswax is one of the most common things you'll see in different sets of boot conditioners. Sugar cane wax I haven't seen before, and marula fruit, I don't think I've seen that either. So a lot of different companies have their own thing going on. Now again, you can go ahead and clean them. I have Cobbler's Choice leather cleaner, I think would work fine, but I did get this stuff specifically. It's for suede, nubuck, all that kind of stuff, rough out. So this here is from Angelus, and I've used this on a pair of Red Wing rough out boots. So I do have specific cleaner. I think these guys do say that they can, the Cobbler's Choice leather cleaner I think will do suede and nubuck as well. This leather waterproofing spray I'll put on at the very end. So I always say if you get a brand new pair of boots, it already comes conditioned. So don't bother conditioning it for 3 to 6 months, but you can waterproof spray it. I did this on a pair of natural Chrome XL boots. They got wet and it handled it really well. So I was actually happy that I did that. Now Cobbler's Choice has a little brush, suede nubuck brush like this. It's a rubber. You can use that. This is an Angelus brush I've used several times. It's going to be a lot more coarse. So a horsehair brush is basically just getting the dust off. You use that for polishing afterwards. But this Angelus brush is something like you might want to clean under your fingernails or something with. You know, keeping your kitchen sink, bathroom sink. This guy here, I'll hit it just to rough it up as well. So I'm going to go across the whole surface of the boot, and I'm just bringing up those fibers. So compared to smooth skin leather, this stuff has the fiber and the nap that will pull up, and you can kind of raise it a little bit. In essence, you're kind of preparing it to receive the treatment. So as it's laying flat, it's not as good about penetrating deeply and receiving all the nutrients, especially depending on what type of conditioner you use and how you use it. But I'll just go ahead and cover the entire boot real quick. This brush here is really good about getting around those welt stitches. This is a stitch down boot and they're really easy to get. This leather is very pliable, so you can kind of pull it back, and now you can see perfectly, you can get those stitching. Some of the stuff that's coming off on the white table here is not just dirt, but actually pieces of the leather. So you can see the upper on a stitch down boot is flared out, and they stitch it directly down to the midsole. It doesn't go out the outsole on this boot. On a lot of Pacific Northwest work boots and stuff, you'll see it go all the way through. They stitch it all the way through. It's not necessary on something like this. It'll make it really easy for a cobbler to resole. He just takes his knife and cuts this outsole off, and then he can glue back on a new one. 9 times out of 10, you don't have to do anything to the midsole. It's still in good condition, especially with a good midsole like they use over here at Jim Green. The outsole on this boot is from Rose Anvil. It's an anvil outsole, if you will. They have a collaboration going on. And then the next thing here, this is a suede nubuck kind of spot cleaner. Let's see if I have anything. I think I had some spots. So this guy here is just designed to get a spot, and you kind of rub it and work it in. And I like to switch back from that. It feels like a giant eraser. Back over here to the brush. You can also use this during the cleaning process with a little bit of water, so you can get out spots. These guys here, a lot of people use these for hiking, for outdoor stuff, for trail running, everyday boots and stuff like that. So this isn't a dressy boot, obviously, so I'm not gonna look for every little spot or get every little indication out, but you know, it's kind of fun to know how to use these things. So yeah, I don't get too carried away with these shoes. I really like the patina, if you will, the rugged look on them. I like them getting a few spots, and it just looks really good to me. So let me cover a couple options here. Now I have these other Chelsea boots by Red Wing, and they are a rough out leather. They recommend mink oil. So you go through and you use the Angelus leather cleaner, you scrub it down, you let it sit for 24 hours, then you apply a thin layer of mink oil. So I got this from Salty Fish, and I thought it was some pretty good stuff. I looked for, Saphir makes a mink oil that's as pure as it gets, supposedly. These guys had pretty good ratings, so I went with that. Kiwi has their own, you know, this is Walmart special, but honestly, it looked about the same. So that's something that you can use on certain rough out leathers. Kind of the top of the line is always Saphir, it seems like, at any occasion. I bought this bottle here specifically for my Thursday boots. I'm gonna be doing a video in the future, so if you wanna see that, you can check that out. That is another rough out. It's in the same family as the suede and nubuck. So Saphir makes these with a little bit of color pigmentation in them. This is a medium brown, if you will, and I'm excited to see how those transition. They've been wearing down pretty bad, and the leather's turning gray, and just, I want to get some pigment back in there. So you can get natural color. I don't know if they have Houston green per se. They got some, I think, clear natural that you can grab. So if you want, you can either use a Saphir, or there's other products out there that are specifically for suede and nubuck. Now that's what they did over on the Jim Green video. They did one boot with the suede nubuck spray, and then the other boot they did with the leather balm. And honestly, I really liked how it turned out. Now, if you guys are just getting into boots, these may seem expensive to you. Let me tell you, I have thousands of dollars in boots. These to me are very reasonably priced, and I just don't think you can do much to harm them. So in my estimation, anything you do is better than not doing anything at all. Some people will argue that until they're blue in the face, and that you can ruin the leather and it won't breathe anymore. And that's super important. But then again, the boot's only going to last so long. So yes, this situation in theory could be clogging up the pores a bit. I still think you're going to get multiple resoles on these boots, and I think they're going to last a long time. What do you say we start getting some of this conditioner on the boot? Now I have this little dauber brush. I just picked up a bunch of these. I am going to do another video on brushes soon, but I'm gonna call this my wax for light colors. It's slightly lighter color bristles than another brush I have like this. And this is a neutral or clear, if you will, wax. And then I have a separate one for the liquid conditioner. So trying to get them into categories and have different brushes for different uses. But at the end of the day, you can just apply this with your fingers, or you can grab a cloth towel and use that. But I have these little dauber brushes, so I'm gonna give it a go. And I think it's gonna work it into the material really well. I also think it's going to kind of agitate that leather and make sure it gets in there pretty deep. So you can immediately see the color change a little bit. And with this brush, I'm gonna have to keep going back often. You know, you don't have to set up and talk to a camera when you're doing this. I think this is always a good task for sitting back and maybe watching a movie. Might have to sit up in your chair a little bit, but you can, I don't know, maybe you have a nice front porch. You can sit off and watch the sunset, see some clouds go by, and just kind of think about your day. I like to spend my time while I'm conditioning my boots if I'm not filming, which I'm 99% of the time filming, but I wouldn't mind using that as a little chance to reflect on my day and just pray a little bit. Something about conditioning your boots reminds you of being a good steward. It reminds you that, you know, everything you get is a gift from the Lord, and that God was the one who provided for you, so you can thank Him for this stuff. Every good thing comes from the Lord. Tongue is kind of a fussy area, so I wanted to start in there. It's not as glamorous because it's usually covered up 90% of the time. Once I get out to the vamp and the toe cap, you're really going to start noticing the difference. It's neat how they sew a special piece right on here for the laces. Kind of like a derby style shoe, if you will, dress shoe. But that's a really thick 2-layer piece there. So the eyelets, all the speed hooks, they're going to stay on for the life of these shoes. Guaranteed. I think they use really good hardware over there at Jim Green. I like how wide these speed hooks are. Really good eyelets. You can already see that taking color. It's just a big noticeable difference right there. Look at the toe cap. I'll start to get some on here across the vamp. This is a good area to make sure you're conditioning the vamp good. That's what gets it the most. It gets all the creasing. All the moving and grooving is happening right there in the vamp. And then the good thing about this applicator brush, I think, is that you can really get down in all the stitching, even on this cap toe there, toe cap area. You can make sure you're working in that stitching area. They have everything I've seen, they have really good thread that they use over there in South Africa with these Jim Greens. I haven't had anything crazy come up. There's a little piece sticking out I could burn with my lighter right there, but I've got 4 pair now of Jim Green boots, and I haven't had anything coming loose. Seems like across the board, no matter what company we're talking about, a lot of you guys will come on and tell me about some story you have with a bad thing here and there. And for the most part, I've been pretty saved from that. I've had some good experiences, especially with Jim Green. I'm really hoping that maybe one day I can head to South Africa and do a little walkthrough tour for you guys. And for me, I would love to head over there and see what they got going on firsthand. If you guys check back, we've been through Nick's, we've been through Frank's, we've gone to Headquarters Hats in Texas. I really like the shop tours. I think it's incredibly valuable information just because not everybody gets a chance to get in one of those factories and look at it. So if we can bring some videos of that, I think it's pretty fun. Well, I finished it up off camera real quick. Friends, I am jazzed about this. I can't quite decide if I want to say it looks meaner and tougher or a little bit dressier and slicker. So at any rate, let me know what you guys think. Did I ruin the boot? I don't think so. So that's going to give it a lot of really good protection. Obviously, has all the right ingredients in here to protect it for a really long time. This leather was getting dry. It needed something. I'm gonna take it in the house. I'm out in the shop and it's like 35 degrees out right now. So this is getting kind of cold. I need to get it in the house and warm it up. I'm gonna agitate it some more with the brush here. And then I'm gonna let it sit for another 12 to 24 hours, probably 24. Then I'll brush it down some more. And then I'll just go ahead and cover it lightly with a little bit of this spray here. Just an extra added layer of waterproof protection. And then lace it up and it'll be good to go. Let me know what you guys think of this boot. Have you had it before? And I'll tell you what, I'm gonna be comparing it soon to the Limbs Boulder Summit boot. So make sure and hang back for that comparison video. We will be doing a 1-year review on these boots at some point. All kinds of fun stuff on the channel. I sure hope you guys will consider subscribing, kind of helping me make my dream come true of doing this full time. So until the next video, friends, God bless, and hey, don't forget to give your boots some love from time to time. If you like this one, we got a bunch of content just like this. Check out the channel. We have everything in playlists, anything from more men's boots to menswear. Check back often. We got a bunch of great stuff coming up on the channel. Till the next one, God bless, and we'll catch you then.